Welcome back to the news today. Amid the ongoing row between Saudi Arabia and Iran, former Minister Zarif accused Riyadh today of fueling sectarian tensions in the Middle East. This comes as Washington finds itself torn between a traditional ally and what it hopes will become a new one. I-24 News correspondent Shani Nakhshoni has the story.
Sunni-Shiite tensions remain high in the Middle East amid a major row between Saudi Arabia and Iran. On Wednesday, Tehran accused Riyadh of igniting the regional situation.
Basically, the conditions of Iran, the great power of the region, and the civilization history of Iran is not so that childish actions of a country in the region would affect our path, our direction, and our targets.
The feud is creating a ripple effect across the globe, including in Washington, where the world's superpower seems torn between a traditional ally and what it hopes will become a new one in the wake of the nuclear deal signed in July.
We're urging all sides to show some restraint and to not further inflame tensions that are on quite vivid display in the region.
After Saudi Arabia executed last weekend senior Shia cleric Nimr al-Nimr, Iranian protesters ransacked the Saudi embassy in Tehran. This prompted Saudi Arabia to cut diplomatic ties with Iran, a move that has left the U.S. straddling the divide.
Your Majesty, welcome, and let me once again reaffirm not only our personal friendship, but the deep and abiding friendship between our two peoples.
Our differences are real, and the difficult history between our nations cannot be ignored. But it is possible to change. This deal offers an opportunity to move in a new direction. We should seize it.
Sunni Saudi Arabia and Shia Iran are major rivals in the Middle East and back opposing sides in the conflicts in Syria and Yemen. Secretary of State John Kerry, who's promoting a peace plan for Syria, is concerned that the talks are in danger.
Obviously, the last thing we'd want to see is for there to be an impact on that or any other significant regional issues by the tensions over the week.
Kerry has spoken with high-ranking Saudi and Iranian officials in an attempt to bridge the gap. Otherwise, the U.S. may find itself facing a very tough diplomatic choice.
And to understand where it's headed, Ali Wakat, senior Middle East analyst for I-24 News, is here with me.
Good evening, Lucy.
Where it's headed?
I think, Lucy, that despite the letter of pardon of the Iranians, we should wait for the meeting of the Arab League next week in order to see whether the Arab world is fully and 100% supporting Iran. In this case, it will go for further escalation. Saudi Arabia will find itself leading the Arab Sunnite world against the Persian Shiite Iran. And in my opinion, it is going for the moment for more escalation. I don't see the escalation turning into a direct confrontation. The Syrian people and the Yemenite people will pay the price of this escalation, but for the moment I don't see any sign that is leading us towards reconciliation.
You know, we're always talking about Saudi Arabia as the leading country in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, but let's say in the last few years we saw the situation of Saudi Arabia unstable. This time, what we are seeing is that it seems like the Sunni world is not even thinking twice. Saudi Arabia said something, this time we're going after it. Why is it? Is it because ISIS? Is it because the problematic situation?
I don't think that there was a problem of stability in Saudi Arabia, but yes, the Saudis lost some of their hegemony in the Arab world. This is with no doubt, and some credibility due to the fact that when they lead the Arab world into this Syrian war, hoping that it will end shortly, and it is lasting now for almost 5 years. The same thing for Yemen. In March, they started a war where they were sure that by the summer they will be ending this war, and nobody can anticipate how will end the war in Yemen. And this is turning Saudi to a weak into a weak situation financially speaking. although we saw that in the last weeks as a preparation to this step vis-a-vis Iran, the Saudis, for example, decide to invest $14 billion in Egypt in order to try to rebring Egypt in their side after an attempt of Egypt to have some independent position politics. Same for some Arab Gulf countries. In the next days after the Arab League will be more clever and informative about where the situation will be going.
Ali Waked, thank you very much for
Thank
this.
you.